So we're here in the garden today with Connie Boucher. Connie is a super essential oil expert. She's been using them for how long?
18, 19 years.
Super long time, long enough to know what she's doing. And we're excited to learn from her about how to use the oils in the garden. How to get rid of those
exactly.
pests.
What do you do, Connie? Tell us your secret.
Well, plain and simple, it's doTERRA, but let me tell you how I got into that. I used to use a lot of chemicals. I lived in the South and I had this yard that was full of azaleas and gardenias and camellias, things like that. And another gardening expert friend came over, and I just moved in, so I hadn't really had a chance to go out and do anything. And we were walking around, and she said, "Oh, you have rust, you have mildew, you have this," and she gave me a list of chemicals to go buy. And she worked at a garden center, so she said, "Go there and get them," and I did. And it was over $100 for the stuff that she told me to get. And I got in the car and started driving home, and I started getting that headache and that smell.
Just from having them in the
Yes,
car.
Oh, yeah.
yes. And I thought, I can't do this. So I took them back. And at that time, I just graduated from massage therapy school. And I'd learned about muscle testing. And I'd learned about essential oils. And I started thinking, if essential oils are good for me and I can test and see what I need, why can't I test and see what my plant needs? And so that's when I started. And I have never used chemicals since. So here's the cool thing about essential oils. This is like literally pennies worth. And if my grandkids get in them or something happens and they spill them or they eat them, big deal.
Yeah,
We'll just
that's
make
right.
It will make them healthier.
That's right.
And so I don't have to worry about that. Plus, I don't have a shelf full of toxic, nasty chemicals in my garage that stink, that gather dust on the top.
And you have to keep
So
locked up.
literally, Chelsea, I see your oils. Do you have a bottle of peppermint?
I do.
Peppermint is my favorite in the garden. So I have this little bottle, which costs a whole lot less, some poison chemical thing, and I only need a drop or two, or more, but you know, you can use more or less, and either way, I found it works.
And
So-
you mentioned that you had to buy, this for rust, this for this kind of bug, this for that, multiple products for different things.
Over $100, she
Hi.
said.
Right,
One bottle of peppermint, and you can kill most of the bugs. Is that
right,
what you're
which
saying?
is $21 wholesale, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's not very much. Yes. So, and you only need a couple of drops. And peppermint works for just about everything.
Peppermint's my favorite also,
it?
Connie. I'm not an expert like you. I'm just the grandma out in the garden. But what I love also is if I'm spraying my roses to get the aphids off, and it's a hot day, I can just mist myself with the peppermint
Exactly.
water, and it's wonderful.
Not-
Safe, clean, pure. Yeah,
Yeah, not to mention that. You can
Yeah.
give yourself a little pick up if you get fatigued.
there you go.
Perfect. You know what I love about that too is you were just saying, I'm not the expert like you. It doesn't, obviously, what it sounds like anyway, it doesn't matter.
Well,
Right?
honestly, do you know what's made me the expert?
What's that?
Is that everybody thinks I am because my garden grows great.
And bug-free and
Right.
chemical-free.
Right.
Wow.
So that's it. That's the only thing that makes me an expert. It's just experience. And I've used oils. Before doTERRA, I used a lot of different brands. And I had okay results. I had
Yeah.
results. But when I sprayed them on my plants, I would get a residue, like a little sticky, filmy residue.
Yes.
And with doTERRA, I don't have that. I
That's
just
because
spray.
there's no synthetics in
Right.
doTERRA's essential oils.
Right.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have wanted to spray those ones in my mouth. So brands are important. You don't want to just use anything. Have you ever thought about the toxic residue that's left by chemicals
Yes.
in the soil?
Yes.
Well, when you spray essential oils on your soil or on your plants, it actually helps clean up some of the residue from the chemicals.
Oh, so it's
So-
working on both sides to the positive.
Right. So
In the
it's
soil, it does?
right. Absolutely. In fact, you have to go buy your own sprayer. And it's literally a green sprayer because you don't have chemicals around. And some people will do chemicals and essential oils. I say just don't do the chemicals, and you don't have to worry about mixing up your sprayer. But I put them in a whole big sprayer and spray my whole garden. I spray my lawn. I spray, instead of spraying a chemical on, I just spray oils.
Wow.
They love it.
Awesome.
simple.
So how many oils drops would you put in an 8-ounce bottle like that?
Sometimes I do more, sometimes less. This one actually has 18 drops of peppermint and 2 drops of white fir in it.
Okay.
And I have good results with that. That's just
Perfect.
kind of like a just
Perfect.
general good for everything oil, usually.
Yeah. Okay.
So how much do you have?
You know what? My general rule of thumb is 1 drop of oil for 1 ounce of water.
Wow.
So, but if it's not quite working exactly like I want it to, then I'll add a little bit more, but usually 1 drop per 1 ounce makes it perfect. And the best thing is, if I have ants around my home on the outside, I have 15, 16 little grandsons that are there. And I give them their own spray bottle and say, okay guys, go spray the ant trails. And they love to do that, and they think they're helping. But when they come back, sometimes they've sprayed each other. I'm not worried about it at all.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, Connie, why don't you show us an example of how you would assess this garden here?
Great idea.
Okay.
Okay, so here we have tomatoes. They are really easy to take care of. Once again, just spray. But you know, sometimes when you first plant them, they'll have a tendency to have a tender little stem, tomatoes and other plants. And anything that has just this tender little stalk that could get eaten by a bug, if you just spray around it, that will discourage the bug.
Well, you're hardly putting anything on there, Connie. Is that all it takes?
Right, that's it. You don't need a lot. And when I dig the hole, I will just do a squirt in the hole. And then also if I'm doing like a row of onions or carrots or something, when you dig your hole, just go along and just do a light little spraying in there also, and that will help discourage anything.
So wait,
from
before you
plants.
plant the plant in the ground or put the seed in the ground, you actually put a little bit of spritz of the oil in there.
Right, isn't that cool?
Yeah.
I am totally convinced that a lot of the health issues that we're having are from the chemicals we use. I mean, absolutely know that.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
it's
Well,
great
isn't the
this is
purpose of the pesticide is to kill the reproductive organs of the plant, right?
right.
And I personally have had experience in that area, expanding a family and having a tough time. And in my research, I've learned about pesticides, and so I think this is fabulous for lots of people in our society who are
Right,
Right.
trying to have families.
Well, can you imagine if we all use these? I mean, look at all the money that we would save, and look at the soil we would save.
Yep.
So
Yeah. Well, and we take such good care of our body and use the essential oils, the certified pure therapeutic grade on us. Why would we want to grow a garden and put herbicides and pesticides and then eat those?
Eat it.
Just
Right.
doesn't make sense.
Right, no.
Yeah, but you also mentioned something about not only are you helping the plant, but the soil.
Right. Well, so think about it. Essential oils have a building and cleansing effect on us. Well, we're made up of the same stuff.
Mother
as the
Nature.
earth. Right. We all have carbon molecules. So when we're spraying on the soil, that's why I put them in the big sprayers and spray.
Okay.
We're helping this clean up the earth too.
I have a question for you, because squash bugs are like the bane of my existence when it comes to gardening. What do you do for those?
I like cinnamon.
Clove.
Okay.
But she's the expert. I'm just the one that's at my house with a bottle of water and a few drops of oil and go to town. So just to make it simple, how and what would you do if you were a beginner?
Peppermint. Peppermint is just simple. And then probably I would use thyme after that. If that's not working, put some thyme in the bottle and spray that.
Mix
and
it with the peppermint, or does it
No,
matter?
I probably would just do it by itself.
Okay.
And then if you've got something that's really tough, you're not getting rid of, like a squash bug, I would put a cinnamon or a clove or
Okay.
cassia, onguard, one of those. And, just get something in that family.
Okay. So general rule of thumb, peppermint.
Yeah,
And build from there.
Peppermint will take
How
care
simple.
of 90% of the
And
things.
so inexpensive. And so effective.
Exactly.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing with us
You're so
about your
welcome.
garden. But you know what? We've got some awesome fruit trees over here. And I have never used oils on fruit trees, and I'm assuming you have?
Yes, it's really tricky, so let's go over and I'll show you.
All right. Love it. Thank you.
First of all, you said there's something tricky about it.
That's right. You did. What's tricky?
Okay, it's really tricky. Get your bottle of peppermint,
Got it?
hold it, put your finger on the trigger,
Yes.
spray.
Just like that?
Yes.
Just like that.
So, you might think for this big tree you need to do something
That's
really special.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
No, if you do have an area where you have something going on,
Yes.
you can do this. If you want that big sprayer thing to do on your tree, you can do that. Also, if you're trimming or cutting back, after you make the cut, just do a little spray of oil on it.
That's just for the healing of the cut?
Well, yeah,
Or what?
you're just taking care of the tree.
I see.
When I use essential oils, all I have to do is just rinse off any dirt or residue that could just be on naturally. And everything tastes really good. So once again, think about it. There's no chemical residue. You just have a sweet essential oil residue. which you don't really taste,
Right.
but it's obviously going to make your fruit more flavorful
What about
and more vital.
worms in apples?
Well, you know, in nature, that's just a natural thing, but you can greatly reduce them with
Okay.
using oils.
Okay.
If you go in the grocery store and you look at organic produce
Yes.
versus the hybrid stuff that you find in most stores,
Right.
the organic looks inferior, right? So we think of as the chemically altered food as perfect.
Because it looks pretty.
Right, because it looks pretty, and we think of the organic stuff as inferior. But perfect really comes from the Greek word talios, which means ripe, whole, mature, and complete. So perfect isn't spotless or flawless.
Okay.
It's ripe, whole, mature, and complete. And so, you know, bugs are going to be part of that organic cycle of life.
Right. Right.
But you will reduce your amount, and if you have a bug, cut it out.
Okay.
It's a lot safer
Love it.
than having a chemical. Just think,
That's
if it
right.
kills the bug, it's going to kill you. So if you think about it, using essential oils on plants is a little bit like homeopathy. If you take a diluted amount of a plant substance and you spray it on the plant, it's going to be good medicine and good preventive medicine.
All right.
So, makes sense, doesn't it?
Sounds so simple. You make it sound so simple. I'm excited. I've never used the oils on the fruit trees before, but on my garden and on my rows of bushes. But you know, Chelsea, I know that you're wondering, you're thinking, well, I've never really used oils before. On your garden, I have a little gift for you, your very own spray bottle, a bottle of peppermint, and that's all you need to get started, right? Is that
So
right?
I'm an expert too.
Yes, you are. And now let's take care of this tree, girls. Look at this. Woo! Healthy, healthy.